Patricia Vallone with a CTV News update. 2 firefighters were injured responding to a house fire in Laurel this morning. Crews from Prince George's, Anne Arundel, Howard, and Montgomery counties were called in to battle the blaze in the 16,000 block of Bond Mill Road. When they arrived, they found a 2-story home engulfed in flames. The injured firefighters were transported to a local hospital.
In the course of putting out the fire, crews found excessive storage conditions throughout the home. The first floor collapsed and firefighters evacuated the building. We continue to operate on scene and continue to monitor the situation.
No word yet on what caused the blaze. COVID-19 cases continue to rise across our region. The state reported 1,923 new cases today. Hospitalizations have tripled since the beginning of the month, with more than 1,500 people hospitalized. 16 deaths tied to COVID-19 were reported today, including the first death of a child in Maryland under the age of 10. Here in hard-hit Prince George's, more than 41,000 people have been infected by the disease. The number of deaths in Prince George's stands at 906. And as the pandemic continues, a committee tasked with making recommendations for post-COVID life is working to support vulnerable residents. The Prince George's Forward Task Force Committee submitted its first round of recommendations to the county executive in October. They include initiatives for senior citizens and housing eviction protections. Rosie Allen Herring, the chair of the committee, says the recommendations also aim to help with food insecurity issues.
We've made the recommendation that has been accepted by the county executive to appoint a food czar. So what we've proposed in having that food czar is to really look at not only where the needs lie in terms of looking at geospatial information systems to understand where the hotspots, where are the needs truly logistically across the county, but also to ask and be able to assess and be able to inventory, if you will, where are those services and how they're being provided.
And the committee submitted another set of recommendations to the county executive earlier this month. The U.S. Supreme Court takes up President Trump's order to remove undocumented immigrants from the nation's census count. The court heard oral arguments today on a case the ACLU and others filed on behalf of immigrant rights groups. Many experts say the order seeks to radically shift political power to less populated states with less diverse populations. CASA is one of the plaintiffs in the case.
This policy that Trump tried to maintain is discriminatory. It's a direct attack on immigrants and also for the communities where not only immigrants live, also our communities, Black community, our brown community, they all live together. And if Trump thinks that they are not person, we are really in a great bad position as a country. So I think that if they are really conservative, they have to be demanding that the Constitution is the one that rules. And the Constitution is very clear. It says that for the census, every person has to be counted, every living person and their person. So we hope that everything is going to be fine, like it was with the other 3 courts before.
Immigrants have been included in the census for the last 230 years. President-elect Joe Biden is moving full speed ahead by announcing his senior economic team. Biden plans to nominate Janet Yellen to head the Treasury Department. Yellen previously served as chair of the Federal Reserve. If confirmed, Yellen would be the first woman to ever head the Treasury Department. Biden also plans to nominate Neera Tanden as the director of the Office of Management and Budget. Tanden is a former Clinton and Obama advisor. Biden also announces that he will nominate Cecilia Rouse, a labor economist. If confirmed, Rouse would be the first woman of color to chair the Council of Economic Advisors. The biotech company Moderna is submitting its coronavirus vaccine for regulatory approval. The firm is asking the FDA for emergency use authorization after completing its phase 3 trial. Moderna says its vaccine was 94.1% effective against COVID-19 and 100% effective at preventing severe cases of the disease. The company says it expects the FDA will be ready for a public meeting to discuss the data. A vaccine could be ready as early as mid-December. Well, money for a bipartisan effort to study the high cost of prescription drugs in Maryland continues to be a point of contention between the state's legislative and executive branches of government. A measure to create a prescription drug board was first passed in 2019, but Governor Hogan refused to fund it. Delegate Jocelyn Pena-Melnick says she wants to create a permanent funding source for the board.
Money to fund it, $750,000, was going to come from the general fund. The governor decided not to allow that. So the board then spent the rest of the time finding funding, and they borrowed it from another state agency, and they were supposed to pay it back. So we put in a bill this session that would allow the board to, by assessing a fee to a lot of the pharmaceutical companies, and basically we were going to raise about $2 million. They were going to be able to pay back the money they borrow, right, the $750,000, and have a permanent, funding for the board, and have enough money where the taxpayers didn't have to pay it. But he decided to basically veto it. And the only thing that I can think of was that Pharma must have lobbied him.
Pena-Melnick says she hopes the General Assembly overrides the governor's veto in the upcoming 2021 legislative session. Cyber Monday is on track to bring in a record haul for retailers. Industry experts say the online sales could hit $12.7 billion. The pandemic has moved many shoppers from in-person to online. But before you make those cyber purchases, security experts are warning shoppers about scams. Here are some tips. Use a credit card as opposed to a debit card for your online purchases. And also avoid deals that are too good to be true and only use secure websites.
So basically, you want to make sure that you are at a reputable website. And two, you want to make sure that you're using a website that has the secure icon, the little lock next to the URL at the top. For example, if it's, Walmart.com or Amazon.com, you should definitely be able to see the little secure lock stating that this is a secure website. For the websites that are not reputable or that are copying a reputable website, they won't have that particular lock because you need to go through an approval process. So if that lock is not there, then basically your transaction won't be secured when putting your financial information in there.
Charles also says avoid using public Wi-Fi systems when you shop online. He says they tend to be less secure. But 'tis the season to give. A Virginia-based nonprofit that prepares African-American boys for careers in STEM fields is seeking donations for Giving Tuesday tomorrow. The organization, called Mission Fulfilled 2030, is raising money for its Chromebooks for Kids initiative. So far, the group has provided more than 50 laptops to school-aged children and families in need. Mission Fulfilled 2030 is also seeking donations for its computer science and tech programs.
I created Mission Fulfilled 2030, whose goal is to inspire, educate, and activate 100,000 Black boys by 2030. And it's predicted by 2030 that there will be a 1 million digital high-tech workforce shortage in the U.S. alone. So I figured if I can educate 100,000 Black boys to meet that challenge, we'll be doing our part.
And for more information and to give back, you can visit missionfulfilled2030.org. Well, a number of NFL players have tested positive for COVID in recent days. The Baltimore Ravens had their game against Pittsburgh postponed twice as key players came down with the virus. And the Saints have been fined $500,000 for violating COVID protocols. The league has closed all team facilities until Wednesday of this week. Locally, Washington head coach Ron Rivera says everyone is adjusting.
The biggest thing we told the guys, just, hey, be ready. We're coming back to work on Wednesday, and just be ready for whatever happens. I mean, we're kind of in that situation right now. I do think we're committed as a league to trying to play every game and then get into a playoffs and have a regular playoffs and have a Super Bowl. that would be a huge victory for not just us, but for our fans and quite honestly for the nation. That that if you do things the right way, if you follow the protocols, you can get through these things. And I think that's part of what we're hoping to be able to show everybody, is that by following the protocols, wearing the mask as much as you can, social distancing like you're supposed to, and then personal hygiene, maybe it helps. Maybe it gets other people to go, wow, look what they did. And, this is a group of people that, we're committed to doing it. And hopefully we can accomplish that.
And Washington is scheduled to play Pittsburgh on Sunday. Well, let's get a quick check on our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight, mostly cloudy with isolated showers and a low around 40 degrees. Tuesday and Wednesday, partly sunny and cool with highs in the mid-40s and evening lows around 30. Thursday, mostly sunny with a high near 52 and a low around 37. And now for your community calendar. While looking for Christmas gifts, don't forget to support local businesses. This year, the Mount Rainier Craft Fair will be virtual. Customers can view a broad range of homemade items through the online platform. Each artist will be presenting their items during a scheduled session, and a link will be provided for online purchases. The free event is this Saturday, December 5th from 12 until 3 p.m., and it's open open to the public. For more information, visit joesmovement.org/craft-fair. And that wraps up our newscast for this evening. Be sure to join us again tomorrow. Have a great night.
For the latest information on COVID-19 in Maryland, visit the State Health Department website. That's health.maryland.gov. Again, health.maryland.gov. Click the link to the COVID-19 information portal. There you'll find all the latest information about coronavirus. You'll find daily updates on cases and fatalities. Answers to questions about testing and the governor's stay-at-home order are available as well. For specific information about Prince George's, visit PrinceGeorgesCountyMD.GOV. That's PrinceGeorgesCountyMD.GOV. The site offers information about local services for residents and businesses. There's a link for COVID-19 relief donations. Also, food pantry locations are listed. And if you have any questions, call the county COVID-19 hotline at 301-883-6627. That's 301-883-6627.
My God.
It's another sad day in America.
Painful to be introduced to George Floyd during his last breath.
With the cop's knee on his neck. He deserves so much more.
How many black lives have to be taken before something is done?
We are not a threat.
I am shaking as I type.
This has got to stop.
We are sick of it.
We need conviction.
I just want us all to live.
The deaths will not stop until the powers that be are finally held accountable.
Don't look away from the truth until every one of us are free from white supremacy.
The world stands with you.
Criminalizing and killing of black and brown bodies is not new. It's as old as America. It's just getting filmed more.
Do you know what it feels like to be hunted? To have a new hashtag for a dead black person every single day? How does one plan a life if they aren't sure they will have a life to plan?
Deborah Dan,
Nina Pop, Stephen Clark, Megan Nia Wilson,
Keisha Mike,
Christopher
George Floyd. His name was George Floyd. Say his name.
Say his name.
George Floyd, say his name.
Say their names. Once again and always, we fight for justice. Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Rest in power, beautiful.
Go to blacklivesmatter.com.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
Come on, Jules, spot on this last one. There it is.
Keep going with it. Leo! They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.